Welcome guys. Today we shall discuss about federalism. It's a chapter in civics in 10th class. Just after power sharing, it is the second chapter of civics or democratic politics second of class 10th. Federalism. Before going to discuss about federalism, we must know what federalism is. Two words are combined and it has been made federalism. Federal plus ism. Ism means system and federal refers to the union government and its constituent units or states. So federalism refers to the division and distribution of power between center and states. That means the power is divided between two levels of government or more levels of government. If the power is divided between two or more levels of government, then it is called federalism. So a system of division of political power or governmental power between center and states. So these are the contents of this chapter. You must be knowing before going into details. What is federalism? The meaning of federalism just I discussed. Vertical division of power. So federalism I discussed, it refers to the division of power between two or more levels of government. Vertical division of power. Vertical refers to the division of power from top to bottom. So at the top central or national government, then below central or national government the state governments, and in case of India we have a local government, that is third tier or third level of government. So vertical division of power means the division of power between center, state and local. Tiers or levels of government. So the levels of government is also called tiers of government. So tiers or levels of government refer to the governments at national level, central level and local level. Unitary government, just opposite of federal government, is unitary. Unitary refers to one. That means one government should be there and it is the all powerful. So when a country has the central government and it is most powerful and states are only its divisions and powers are not given to them, if some authorities are given, it will be taken away at any moment. That is called unitary government. So in unitary government the power is not distributed perfectly to the states and local, and almost all the powers are kept in center or with national government, that is unitary. Key features of federalism we have to study. Main features of federalism. Objectives of federalism. Its purpose, aim. Two aspects of federalism. What are the aspects and characteristics or nature of federalism? Two routes to form federalism. There are two routes we will be discussing: coming together federalism and holding together federalism. Coming together federalism means when the small units, the states, the provinces, its constituent parts, they come together and form the union, that is coming together federalism. And holding together federalism refers to when the central government holds the states, holds the units, it is called holding together federalism. Then jurisdiction. Jurisdiction refers to the area of authority. The area of a government, area of a state, that refers to jurisdiction. What makes India a federal country? The next content. So which features are present? The features of federalism are present, and by that we can prove or justify that India is a federal country. Three lists are there: union list, state list, concurrent list. So union list, it contains the subjects of national interest, and in this list the central government or union government can exercise powers and can make laws. In the state list, the state government can make laws and the central government cannot interfere in the state list. Concurrent list. Concurrent list refers to the list of subjects in which both central and state government can make law, can exercise their power. Concurrent list. Another is residuary subjects. Residuary subjects means the subjects which are not included in any of the list, not in the union list, not state list, and never in the concurrent list. So residuary subjects are the subjects which are not included in any list. They are left out. They are recently developed subjects. Union territories. There are two types of units in India. One type is called the states and another is union territories. So union territories means the territories which are directly controlled by union government or central government. They are very small, they cannot be states, they cannot also remain independent. That's why they are being controlled by the central government. Sharing of power between union government and state government, that is power sharing or federalism. Role of judiciary in federalism. Federalism exists due to the presence of judiciary or courts. If Supreme Court, High Courts will not be there, then federalism cannot survive, cannot progress. So judiciary has important role in federalism. Then practice of federalism. How federalism is practiced, practically going on in India, that we will discuss. Success of federalism. How far federalism has succeeded in India, what are the points to succeed, and what are the factors that lead to the success of federalism in India. Linguistic states. Linguistic states refers to the states are being created on the basis of language. One language spoken by majority of people, most of the people, they are living in one state. Linguistic states. Language policy. The language policy adopted by our constitution, by our government, that we will discuss. How official languages are there, state languages are there, regional languages are there. This is language policy. Center-state relations. The center-state relations refer to legislative relation regarding law, financial relation, judicial relation, political relation. So center-state relations are there. Coalition government. Coalition government means when the government is formed by more than two parties, by more than one party, maybe two parties, maybe three parties, that is coalition government. So when a party does not secure majority to form a government, a coalition government is formed. Linguistic diversity of India. Linguistic diversity means variety, differences. So there are many languages in India, and that's why linguistic diversity. It differs from place to place, region to region, language differs. Scheduled languages of India. The languages which are recognized by constitution in the 8th schedule of the constitution. Then come to decentralization in India. Decentralization means the power of central and state governments are given to local governments. So when the powers of state and central government are transferred or distributed to the local government, it is called decentralization. Centralization means all the powers will be center. Decentralization means when power will be going to the local from state and center. Major steps towards decentralization. In India after 1991, the constitutional changes have come and the constitution has given decentralization system and it has taken many steps. The central government has taken many steps to decentralize power, to give power to the local governments which are mandatory in the constitution. Panchayati Raj. Panchayati Raj is a system in the rural government system, local government system. So Panchayati Raj refers to the system of rural administration which includes the village administration and the Panchayat Samiti or block and up to the district level, that is Jila Parishad. So Gram Panchayat. The Panchayat Raj system includes the Gram Panchayat which consists of some villages which works for the villages and it is an elected body which looks into the welfare of the villages. Sarpanch. Sarpanch, otherwise known as Gram Pradhan. In some areas it is called President. So popularly known as Sarpanch is the head of the Gram Panchayat. And he is an elected head and he looks after into the welfare of the villages. Gram Sabha. So Gram Sabha is a meeting of the elderly people of the village, the adults of the village. They constitute the Gram Sabha, they discuss all the matters of the village, help the Gram Panchayat to do its functions. Panchayat Samiti or otherwise known as block, BLOCK. So Panchayat Samiti or block refers to a group of Gram Panchayats, they form Panchayat Samiti. Jila Parishad at the district level. Jila refers to district in English. Jila Parishad means a council. It's a group of members of the entire district which constitutes some officials, government officials, also elected members. They constitute Jila Parishad. Their main work is to do welfare activities for the district. Municipalities. So municipalities, they are a form of local self-government, and you will be astonished to know local self-government was introduced in 1881 by Lord Ripon, the kind-hearted Governor General of India. So municipalities, they are to work for the welfare of the towns. In small towns we will find municipalities. Municipal corporation. Municipal corporation are generally found in the big cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai. And they are just like the municipalities, but they are found in the big cities. They are elected bodies. Some government members are also there, officials are members, and one commissioner is the official head of corporation. Municipal corporation's main head is mayor who is elected. They are doing welfare activities for the municipal corporations. Results of local self-government also will be what are the results, what the people get. They are actively participating, involved themselves in the self-government system. Challenges to local self-government. Challenges to local self-government. What are the problems that those local self-government are facing? Lastly, the content is experiment in Brazil. Brazil is a South American country. An experiment has been made on the local self-government power sharing, that will be discussed. Federalism. Now come to the first content, federalism. It is a system of government in which power is divided between central authority and the constituent units or states of the country. Let me explain it. So federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between center and states. So central authority or national government and the constituent units means states. So states are the constituent units, smaller units of central government. So when power is divided between national government and states, it is called federalism. It has generally two levels of government. Minimum two levels should be there in order to be federalism. One is for the entire country, responsible for common national interest. The others are governments at the state level to look after the state. So two levels of government are required to be a federal country. One is national government responsible for national interest, and second is state level to look after the state matters. Both the levels of governments enjoy their power independently. The states are not completely subordinate to central government. They have some independent powers, they can take some decisions. Just opposite unitary form of government. Under this system, there is only one level of government, or the subunits, you can say the states, are subordinate to the central government. Suppose it is a big country and a unitary country. For administrative purposes, the country can be divided into small units, but those units are directly controlled by the central government. That's why it is unitary form of government, where central government is all powerful. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local government. But in federal system, the central government cannot order the state government to do something. State governments have some powers in federalism. But state governments are powerless or having very less power in the unitary form of government. State government has powers of its own and it is not answerable to the central government. So in federal form, state government have powers, but in unitary form of government, they have very less powers. Then key features of federalism. So from these features, one can be able to know what federalism is. Two or more levels of government. The first and foremost feature of federalism is there must be two levels of government. Each level has its own jurisdiction, that is area of authority, in matters of legislation, taxation and administration. So each level of government has its own area in which it can exercise its powers. In matters of legislation, legislation means law making. State can make its own law, center make its own law. Taxation, state's taxation, central tax. Administration, the state has its own administrative system under the chief minister. The jurisdiction of governments are specified in the constitution. So each level has its own jurisdiction and the jurisdiction or area of authority is specified in the constitution. So clearly it is mentioned the jurisdiction, area of authority. The existence and authority of each level of government is constitutionally guaranteed. So in the constitution, guarantee is given regarding the power of each level of government, that is center and state, which are given in the constitution. Fourthly, the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally by one level of government can be changed. So the fundamental provisions, main provisions, arrangements of the constitution, main articles of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed. Unilateral means by one government, by one side, one level of government. So some provisions are there, main provisions in the constitution which cannot be changed by only central government or by only state governments. Both governments have to come and agree, then they can change the fundamental provisions of the constitution. That means the states have some powers in federalism. Courts have the power to interpret. Interpret means explain the constitution and the powers of different levels of government. So in federalism, the courts like Supreme Court and High Courts, they have the power, authority to explain the constitution. They will give the meaning of the constitution if some ambiguity, if some confusions come on different levels of government. Sources of revenue, revenue here income, finance, for each level of government are clearly specified. So the source of income of state governments, of central government are clearly mentioned, from which source they will collect their tax and money.